Never heard of a killer? I drop bombs like Hiroshima.
Somebody said, look at Leak You video. What the fuck is Leak You? Is it like a site? What's Leak You? Leak You. Is it a YouTube channel? Oh, shit. Oh, all right, bet. Here we go.
Please hit the like. Thank you.
One, two, three, four.
Well, good morning, folks. Good afternoon, good evening. What an interesting day today. I wanted to come through really quick. And this is just a preliminary live stream, okay? We're just going to talk about what is happening today, and we're going to take a look at some things. And later, folks, tonight, once the business day is over, I will be going through these UFO files with you on the Department of War, from the Department of War, and we're gonna take a look. As a matter of fact, while I'm talking, I want to go ahead and show you a montage of the clips of a video that has been released by the Department of War. Give me just a second. I can put that on while we are talking. But today's a very interesting day. Disclosure has begun. Disclosure has actually begun. Our government, the United States government, began releasing UFO files, including photos, videos, and documents. And so let's, there's a montage, folks, a montage of clips. Again, I kind of prepped you guys to tell you, you know, be a respect of alien beings. I can tell you in the files, there's no photos of any alien beings or anything like that. But guys, this is just the first drop files. Today, we got wind that this was going to be happening a couple of days ago. We knew something was going down when pastors started coming out saying that they had had secret meetings with government officials about UFO files dropping and them potentially having, in their view, Bible-changing revelations. Again, this is only the first wave, but the Pentagon today, and let me give a shout out to Jeremy Corbell. Jeremy Corbell last night did a post on X and start dropping some of these UFO files in tomorrow, Friday. And so we did this, that did happen. It did come to fruition. And so we've got our hands on 171 different pieces of data that will be traversing through the Pentagon. today began releasing these files. And this is following through on an order from President Donald Trump to make public government documents about this unexplained phenomenon. Now, the release includes, 162 files from the FBI, the Department of Defense, NASA, and the State Department. And by the way, guys, those of you who suspected that NASA missions seen anomalous phenomena, it is confirmed several missions that occurred by NASA is included. Some documents are actually included in these files. Now, the documents contain eyewitness testimony, photos, and reports of sightings of unexplained objects. It also details incidents dating back decades from around the globe. There's even cables that we're seeing. Now, these files have been hidden behind classifications and have long fueled speculation, and it is justified speculation. And the president said that this disclosure was aimed at providing, he said, a complete and maximum transparency. But guys, I promise you, there are things that happen that don't eat the Pentagon. And we've talked about that in past videos. I won't go into it now. But again, we're talking files, the PDF documents, but the image objects that were filmed by military aircraft, okay? 6 of these photos show phenomenon that was observed by NASA team missions that was captured. Yeah. One of the Apollo 17 photos, it was from December of 1972. It's described as depicting 3 dots in a triangular formation in the lunar sky. So the Pentagon, we'll see. We'll see how this goes, guys. There's also another document that says Apollo 17 astronaut Jack Schmitt reported seeing a flash on the lunar surface north of the Grimaldi crater. So I thought that was very interesting. But there's roughly 24 videos. They run for a total of 41 minutes. And they show reported encounters around the world between 2020 and 2026. Most show footage from an infrared camera tracking objects. They somewhat appear as almost like a speck on the screen moving through the air. But there's also a report that accompanies a video that was taken in Greece back in 2023. And in this report, it said that the object was making multiple 90-degree turns at approximately 80 miles an hour. There's even a video showing an object described as resembling a football in the Indo-Pacific, and another from Syria that shows 2 semi-transparent, irregularly shaped orange areas that each appear for about 2 seconds. There's even another very interesting image that I am just awed by, that the FBI, there's like an FBI photo overlay of an object that had been described by witnesses. It's like a composite sketch of an ellipsoid object. It's like bronze, metallic, and it just materialized out of a bright light in the sky. And it was about 130 to 195 feet in length, and it just disappeared instantaneously. That whole thought process of these things materializing into thin air. Some would say they're opening a portal and materializing out of that portal. Again, interdimensional. You've probably heard that word quite a lot. Now, this release also includes an FBI case file that details reports of unidentified objects and flying discs from 1947 to 1968. This spans a total of 18 separate documents. This case file actually features a high-profile incident and accounts of that incident, including photographic evidence from sites like Oak Ridge, Tennessee, and even technical proposals regarding potential propulsion systems. And again, we're going to be going through a lot of this this evening. The Pentagon said the FBI had previously released portions of that case file I was just mentioning, but the version that was released today and seems to include fewer redactions, and there's also several newly declassified pages in that report. So just heads up. But the bulk of the documents feature modern incident reports from, again, 2020 to 2026. And this is from members of the military detailing their encounters with strange objects or unexplained phenomena in countries like Iraq, Syria, the Persian Gulf, the Strait of Hormuz, Gulf of Aden, Greece, and elsewhere. Keep in mind, folks, that when there's conflict on Earth, there tends to be an increase in UFO activity where the conflict zones are. So just note that in the back of your mind. But one pilot actually described seeing a triangular and metallic UAP that was flying at 25,000 feet over the Mediterranean. There's also other documents that detail historical encounters, including the famous crash in Roswell, New Mexico in 1947. And one section of the FBI case file includes a memo written by an agent in the Dallas Bureau Field Office, FBI quarters, FBI Dallas Field Office, in which the agent reports that a major in the Air Force called to tell the office that an object purporting to be a flying disc was recovered near Roswell, New Mexico in 1947. This is what it said, quote, "The disc is hexagonal in shape and was suspended from a balloon by cable, which balloon was approximately 20 feet in diameter." Yeah, very interesting. Letters. I was reading through the letters earlier. These are letters that were addressed to FBI Director J. Edgar Hoover, detailing sightings of flying discs, including correspondence between different FBI offices about these reports. There was even a sighting in Idaho, and a regional office wrote to headquarters asking if there was any advice on how to explain the phenomena, because it's believed that continued appearance of such objects without any official explanation could result in some sort of hysteria or panic. And then there's also a even more recent document detailing the experience of several federal law enforcement agencies who were in an undisclosed location in the Western U.S. This was in 2023. So this file that was, that's been prepared by the Pentagon actually reported that teams of agents had seen orbs, had seen strange figures in the sky or just right off the ground. One incident actually involved an orb that the agents describe as similar to the Eye of Sauron from the Lord of the Rings, except without the pupil, or maybe like an orange storm electrifying bowling ball, if that makes sense. So there was another incident that involved federal agents that was seeing orange orbs in the sky that emitted smaller red orbs in groups of 2 to 4. These events were witnessed by multiple teams, varying locations and different vantage points over a 2-day period. 2-day period. The file even went on to say that due to the sequential nature of the events, it's not known whether there was a single orange mother orb that released the groups of red orbs or whether there was multiple orange orbs at play. So I mentioned the cables. The State Department's files actually featured cables from diplomats, including Papua New Guinea, Kazakhstan, to Washington that detailed various UAP incidents that happened in those countries. And the dates range anywhere from 1985 to 2025. Yeah. Yeah, it's very, very, very interesting. Tinfoil hat in place. Is my audio a bit choppy, folks? I hope it's not. I'm on my own internet device, y'all. Got my own router. It says my connection is excellent, so we will see. But going back, you all, to just kind of some of the cables, right? There was this this cable that came from the U.S. Embassy in Tajikistan. This was in 1994. Essentially, this cable relayed the experience of a commercial air pilot and crew who reported seeing a strange object at about 40,000 feet or so. The group said that they seen a bright light of enormous intensity that approached them from over the horizon to the east, and it was at a great rate of speed and at a much higher altitude than their own. And the crew actually watched as this object maneuvered in circles, corkscrews, and even made 90-degree turns at rapid rates of speed and under a very high G intensity, right? Now, you know, there were some suggestions that the object might have been a meteor entering and skipping off the Earth's atmosphere, but the crew is very adamant that they had seen thousands of falling stars and other space junk entering their atmosphere in their years of flying craft for Pan Am, but they insisted this was nothing like a meteor. So the pilot actually expressed the opinion, which his crew seemed to support, by the way, that the object was extraterrestrial in origin and it was under some sort of intelligent control. So in that particular cable, the embassy diplomat concluded that report saying that they had no opinion and they're reporting it for what it may be worth. So we'll take that. But out of the 162 files, 108 of them contain redactions. The Pentagon said that information was withheld to protect the identity of eyewitnesses, the location of government facilities, or potentially sensitive information about military sites that are not related to UAP. So anyway, more releases are coming. The Pentagon's UFO site said that new documents will be released on a rolling basis as they are discovered and declassified, with tranches posted every few weeks. So that's going to be very, very interesting. So yeah, this is a montage of video from the file release. Thank you, Buckle Brush. I appreciate that. I will take a look at that and we will address that this evening for sure. Meteors, yeah, there you go. Meteors don't change direction sporadically. They sure don't. They sure don't. I gave you Roswell file in Rumble chat, page 4, third down, page 70. I got you. I got you. So this is our government's version of disclosure, folks. Again, some say this is a distraction from the Iranian war and from the Epstein files. But this, if that pushed UFO disclosure, well, so be it. Memo from Dallas FBI field, transporting saucer. Love it. Buckle Brush, love it. So I haven't been able to go through all the files, but Buckle Brush definitely seems to be sifting through them. It says, hey, memo from Dallas FBI field office in which they're transporting a saucer. And then he mentions the Roswell file, and I've got a page number, and we will be reviewing that later on today. But you all, take a look at this montage, this video montage. What makes these so much more credible is the fact that these were recorded by military sources. And I mean, you can clearly see that that is not a plane, right? A plane does not move in that way. That's, again, the fact that military sources recorded this. We've got military folks, government folks, federal agents reporting these sightings and incidents. Apollo 7 bogey tape is crazy. And see, that's another amazing part of this, right? The fact that several incidents during the Apollo launchings, that's not even the right word to use for that, missions, Apollo missions, we know for certain that astronauts have seen UFOs or UAPs. We now know that for a fact. This file release absolutely confirms that. We've got images coming in from those missions. This is how our government is choosing to begin disclosure, folks. How much more data will we get? I'm curious, right? But the Apollo crews and astronauts seeing objects from the lunar surface. It's almost as if these objects followed them, and it's like keeping an eye on them. And a lot of these, and that almost looks like a triangular. Nope, it's still recording the little speck. If you just pay really close attention, you can see the UFO moving in all sorts of crazy directions. And this video is tracking that. Yes, a lot of orbs. Yeah, this is, now again, guys, think about this. If being the fact that the government is dropping these, right? And they're still not coming out and saying, right, that extraterrestrial life exists. They're not saying it officially, but we know it's sort of kind of official. I mean, we've had Congress hearings on this. We've got Barack Obama coming out and saying, yeah, aliens exist. He doesn't, he hasn't seen them, but he knows that they exist. And he was our former president. You've got Donald Trump smiling as he's being asked that question. And when she said Barack Obama released classified information, just the fact that he said that statement told us that what Barack Obama said was true. So again, there's no little green men or pictures of aliens in these in this particular UFO file drop. But there's reports, and incident reports that are we're going to, clearly sift through them. But think about it. Could a human being do this? Even create an object that could do this? This is something that is beyond our understanding. Yes, I have, CEO. I have seen some people do that. I have actually tried to do that myself, but I didn't see anything, right? And they talk about taking, different lenses and being able to look through those lenses and actually see things. So I find that to be very interesting. But anyway, folks, I just wanted to come through and make a very quick live just to kind of talk about this. This is something we've been waiting on for a long time. I'll be back later on and we'll discuss this some more, folks. I'll see y'all on the next live stream.
The judgment sentence that you are an asshole. The trial is over. Thank you, everybody.
Let's play a game. You have 10 seconds to take all your stuff and get out of my life. 10, 9, 8.
God bless you, motherfucker.
You're really smart. Like really, really, really smart like I am.